If you were a soldier during the war, how far would you go to defend your country's honor? How far would you follow the orders of a superior officer? Well, whatever your answer is, it's probably just wholesale peanuts in comparison to what one Japanese soldier did during the near end of the Second World War. Hiroo Onoda, while in the Philippines, did not stop holding on to his commanding officer's orders for a full 29 years after Japan surrendered. I wonder what a severance check looked like. Born on the 19th of March 1922, Onoda lived in the village of Kamikawa in the Wakayama prefecture of Japan. Not much was written about his childhood, except a statement straight from the horse's mouth, in which the soldier described his kid self as always defiant and stubborn in everything. At first, he was just working in a Japanese trading company in Wuhan, China at the age of 17. But just as he turned 18, he was immediately enlisted in the army for World War II. He wasn't gonna be just any dime-a-dozen grunt either. He was enrolled in the Nakano School, which was famous for training their military students in counterintelligence, covert ops, sabotage, propaganda, and guerrilla warfare. The man was practically a commando. These skills would come in extremely handy for the future hide-and-seek champion, since after his training, he was then deployed to Lubong Island, Philippines in December 1944. 2 years earlier, Japan had grabbed hold of the Philippines, taking it away from the Filipino people and the Americans who occupied it. This proved to be a short-lived victory though, as the Japanese forces were spread thin over the course of 2 years, dealing with Philippine guerrillas and American soldiers. Onoda would join a group of his fellow countrymen who were there before he was. His mission was to do some sabotage work, such as blowing up airstrips and harbors. This would have definitely helped the boys in defending Lubong Island from the Americans. But of course, his seniors had other plans. They were preparing for a Japanese evacuation. The island was a pretty strategic area in the context of war, so giving it up was a massive blow already. Since the senior officer stopped Onoda from sabotaging the enemy's plans of attack, the Philippine Commonwealth Forces and the Americans easily took the island when they landed on the 28th of February 1945. A lot of the Japanese forces were either fleeing or killed at this point in time, but Major Yoshimi Taniguchi gave Onoda his final orders: stand and fight. It may take 3 years, it may take 5. Whatever happens, we will come back for you. And fight Onoda did. By the time the war was ending all over the world, Hiroo Onoda and his remaining 3 companions, Yūichi Akatsu, Shōichi Shimada, and Kinshichi Kozuka, all went to the woods to continue their mission. It was guerrilla warfare from here on. The 4 soldiers survived for as long as they did with stolen rice, coconuts, and beef from farm raids. By August 1945, the war ended on all fronts in Japan. The thing was though, these 4 lads didn't know and continued what they thought was the right thing to do. They did notice that there was a little less fighting, but no one bothered to think that Japan had surrendered. This meant that anyone who was considered an enemy was still gonna get shot one way or another, so farmers and local police were pretty much attacked every single time. There was no method of communication available for Onoda and the boys, and the Americans knew that, so they put up a massive effort in informing Japanese holdouts that the war's over, and basically saying Japan lost. Every time Onoda would receive these, he'd shrug it off as propaganda. Nowadays, we'd call it fake news. As the years went by, Onoda's ragtag crew dwindled due to either surrender, death by Philippine authorities, or agitated Lubong Island locals. By 1972, Onoda was alone. This all changed when the college dropout and explorer named Norio Suzuki went to Lubong Island in 1974, as he heard that the loyal soldier might still be alive. To quote Suzuki, he was looking for Lieutenant Onoda, a panda, and a yeti, in that order. He was about to eat a bullet from Onoda until he said, "Onoda-san, The Emperor and the people of Japan are worried about you. And from there, they struck a friendship. Being there for the soldier wouldn't be enough to convince him to come home though, as he was pretty hung up about his duty, and would only stop if his commanding officer would tell him to give up. So, Suzuki took a few pictures of the loyal soldier and brought them to the Japanese government. They then called over Onoda's commanding officer, Yoshimi Taniguchi, who spent his post-war years selling books, and the mission to finally retrieve the longest reigning hide-and-seek champion at the time in Lubong Island was on. Now face to face with his commanding officer, Onoda wept uncontrollably and laid down his rifle. It didn't take 3 years, nor 5. It took 29 years. But Taniguchi's promise was fulfilled. He came back for Onoda. This, of course, isn't the end of Onoda's story, but we'll save all the post-war details on our part 2 video. Go check it out. What do you think of the 29-year-long hiding? Tell us your thoughts in the comment section below. We have a lot of content for you guys, so go ahead and humor us by taking a look at our channel. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.